One sure way to get me interested in playing a game is talking about what a great story it has. Even more if it has a large cast of creative characters who are nonetheless memorable and fun to spend time with. It's not a surprise then that I've always had my eye on playing the Suikoden games someday, and my time has nearly arrived with the Suikoden 1 and 2 Remastered collection coming very soon. On top of that, since I played the spiritual successor Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes last year, I have more of an idea of what I'm in for with these games, and I'm ready to see where the ideas iterated on in that release originally came from. While a lot of this is going to be about my perspective and why I'm excited as a newcomer to the series, I also felt that there is more to be excited about that someone else may be better to talk about than me. That's why I invited the incomparable CaliQ Games to join me for this video to offer a longtime fan perspective and his own thoughts on this upcoming release. First off though, let's give some background for the series. The Suikoden series began back in 1995, developed by Konami and loosely based on the novel Water Margin, a Chinese novel from the Ming Dynasty which detailed the story of a group of 108 outlaws. That premise was turned into a turn-based RPG by the late great Yoshitaka Murayama, may his memory be a blessing. Since that initial release, there have been 5 mainline entries into the series, but this collection only consists of the first 2, so let's focus on those. Suikoden 1 came out in 1995 for the PlayStation in Japan and 1996 in North America. While other ports of the game were made to the Sega Saturn and to Windows, those versions never made their way out of Japan. Suikoden 2 was released in 1998 in Japan and 1999 in North America, also for the PlayStation. These 2 games have been paired before this upcoming collection though, with a 2006 PSP release that, you guessed it, only came to Japan. So it is certainly encouraging that this time around they're allowing us Westerners the same chance to play both in one. The first game was generally well received, as was its sequel. They scored very similarly with critics of the time, but in a lot of fan communities I have seen Suikoden 2 lauded as the definitive Suikoden game. I am certainly excited though to play both, and my chance shall come when Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remastered, Gate Rune, and the Dunen Unification releases for Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC on March 6, 2025. Now, the story is a big selling point for the games, but I will be honest, I've been trying to stay unspoiled on a lot of the story, so here is what I know going into Suikoden. Suikoden 1 starts with the player character coming into possession of a powerful rune that upends his life. These events put him on a collision course with the Liberation Army and their fight against our protagonist's homeland, the Scarlet Moon Empire. The first game takes us through the events of that conflict, whereas Suikoden 2 starts 3 years after the events of Suikoden 1. Yes, much like the Trails series, all of the Suikoden games take place in the same land with recurring characters between them. Our protagonist in Suikoden 2 is a new recruit to the army who finds his first mission does not go as expected. He and his best friend Joey, I think that's how it's pronounced, like the first protagonist, find themselves with new runes that drive them to diverging paths and a wider conflict that they will have to navigate. There are several parts of the Suikoden story that appeal to me. The huge cast of characters with a lot of potential, a deep world of politics, intrigue, and war, and the games being set in the same world so I can see characters and the world transform. I do love games that all take place in the same world, hence my love for series like Valkyria Chronicles, Xenoblade Chronicles, and of course Trails. There's a dynamism to the world and characters that I appreciate all the more, and I'm certainly excited to see how Suikoden introduces this world, its characters, and then deepens them over time. We can have both the bigger picture wars and politics that compel us and give satisfying moments of grand adventure and conflict, as well as having the personal stories that drive our engagement with the games. The story of the characters in any game is what really drives me, and Suikoden has a lot of characters to generate that attachment and compelling individual stories as background to the larger conflict. Given the great reception that the games, especially Suikoden 2, get, I'm sure I'm in for a good time. Now, as for gameplay, I already have a pretty good preview of what the system for Suikoden will entail in the form of Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. That means a party of up to 6 characters with a front and back row to fight in, where you set all of your actions before combat and then initiate a turn. This system comes with the standard attack plus the runes that allow characters to use other magical abilities. If you've played RPGs before, none of this is going to seem unfamiliar. However, that is just one of the battle options you will find at Suikoden. The most common, certainly, but just one of 3. Occasionally, you'll have the chance for a one-on-one duel with a character. Pay attention to your opponent's dialogue and pick the right option to succeed in battle. Finally, the strategic war battles for when the fights get more into army on army versus standard enemies. From what I understand, the strategic war battles are the area of the series that has had the most change in it over the course of the series. For Suikoden 1, it actually somewhat resembles the rock, paper, scissors elements of the one-on-one duels with different types of attacks that you can perform. Position the attacks with certain units to achieve devastating results. Suikoden 2 changed the system up to have an actual map to move units around on. Honestly, looking at it, you can see some inspiration from Fire Emblem or other strategic battle games. Not to nearly the same depth, but enough to give passing resemblance. I look forward to seeing how the different battle systems are portrayed in the remaster. I don't expect much, if any, changes, but I think visually they could be made more appealing. On top of the battle systems, the Suikoden series also has a notable feature that I'm always excited to see in games: the chance to build your own base. Now, there isn't a significant degree of customization, but seeing your proud base get built up from humble beginnings to a well-oiled community ready to serve your needs is a satisfying gameplay arc. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing it grow, and this is usually where the minigames come into play as well. When playing Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes, there were several minigames I really enjoyed, and one I really didn't. But I know the Suikoden games don't have Beigoma in them, so we're safe. That's a lot of the stuff that I'm excited about with regards to Suikoden, but I can only speak as someone who has played the spiritual successor and not as someone who has played the original games. I figured then, to give a complete view of why everyone should be excited, newbies and veterans alike, I would ask my friend CaliQ Games to contribute to the video since his passion for the series is off the charts. Take it away, Cali.
So what's going on, guys? My name is CaliQ Games, and I want to give a big shout out to Rio for featuring me on this video about the Suikoden HD remasters. Now, when he hit me up and let me know that I was to be involved in a hype video, well, listen, let me speak from the perspective of a person who has been waiting for these games to be remastered forever. Suikoden 1 and 2 are some of the most unique JRPGs I've ever had the chance to play, with 2 specifically being regarded as one of the best JRPGs of all time. Yes, I am not exaggerating. The story in Suikoden 2 is just absolutely beautiful, and it features some villains that are some of the most rawest and true to the core villains that I've ever seen in any sort of game I've ever played. Both of the games have unique features about why one may be preferred over the other, but them together create such a strong and impactful package. Now, these games features a plethora of characters, featuring over 108 different recruitable characters that all have their own different roles. Not each character can be used in battles, but that is okay, because there is an HQ aspect to both Suikoden games where you can build up your HQ, build up your castle, and each character will serve a role and purpose. This is just one of the most unique perspective and takes I've ever seen a JRPG go. And one more thing about this franchise that has always just been so real and authentic to me is that this isn't necessarily about saving the world. You take the perspective of these young teens who are thrown into the chaos of the warring nations, and from their perspective, you'll see how they try to navigate through all of the madness using what they thought was justice, using what they thought was their integrity. And that's what makes these games' perspectives so unique. You're going to get in, you're going to play it, and you're going to see exactly what I mean. Beautiful OST, beautiful characters, beautiful storyline. This game has it all. It even has a little bit of strategic JRPG elements to it as well, if that is your thing. You cannot go wrong with anticipating and getting ready to have your hands on the Suikoden HD Remasters 1 and 2. And as for the future of this series, I pray that these remasters do extremely well, because I want to see this perspective brought back in the current age of JRPGs. Multiple 6-party characters, all of these different personalities and characters to contribute to one cause. It's such a heartwarming and heartfelt adventure. I would love to see Suikoden be brought back in a glorious way in the modern age of JRPGs. But it all starts here with us taking care of, buying, purchasing, whatever word you want to use. It is imperative that we show our support for for these HD remasters. I'm putting my word out there. You guys will not be disappointed. If you're looking for that classic JRPG goodness that is the soul of why we love this genre, this Suikoden 1 and 2 will fulfill what you're looking for. Thank you, Com, for having me on, and I cannot wait until these games come out. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. All right. I can go on all day about these games, but y'all go ahead and check it out when they come through. Thank you, Com. I'll see you guys on the next video.
Now, for every remaster, one of the key questions is how the remaster improves the original. In the past, I've seen remasters with improvements to fast travel, battle speed, difficulty, frame rate, and more. Based on what has been said for Suikoden so far, there are some changes that I definitely think will enhance the experience. Giving the option to speed up or automate battles was great to see. Adding a dialogue log is also helpful for story moments, and then of course there's the general updates to the graphics and sound to make it higher quality. Comparing it to the original, at least from what I can see, I'd say the update did a good job of retaining the original style while upping the general quality. I don't know if the same could be said for the music, but pretty much the only thing that I had critique on the sound design is the sound as you're selecting abilities in battle. That's going to get annoying real fast if I can't turn that down or off. Now, I'm not surprised by this exclusion, but it would have been nice for the remaster to include voice acting. Konami probably decided that would be too much for the remaster though, especially given the number of characters the game has, so I'll just have to do the voices myself if I want them. Between the updated presentation, quality of life additions, and solid base to build from, I think the remastered collection will live up to my expectations compared to past remasters I have played. While this video is designed as a hype video for prospective fans and old fans of the Suikoden games, if you've ever heard an old Suikoden fan talking about the games, you could probably guess they don't need additional convincing to get these games. If you are on the fence though, this collection has some great updates that do not take away from the original brilliance of the Suikoden games, and I'm very excited to dive into this world and see exactly why these games have endured for decades in the consciousness of its fans. How are y'all feeling about the Suikoden remaster releases? Let me know in the comments and like the video and subscribe if you have not already. Also, if you want even more Suikoden content, I implore you to check out CaliQ and his channel. He has great content in general, and the Suikoden videos are a peak example of that great content. Thank you so much, man, for helping me out with this video. To everyone else, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and happy gaming.